course, something different.
Okay, thanks very much. Right, first challenge is to make sure I can find my presentation for you. And I think we're there. It's looking good. Okay. So thanks to all the guys that have put this together, because there's been a lot of effort here, obviously, to get everybody in the room to share this knowledge and to give this information out to people. So thanks very much to the Eventopedia guys, and thanks for everyone who supported them. Well, the slides up there's no good, is it? There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, somewhere it'll be right. Yeah, and it's a really great event, obviously, not just for networking and meeting new people, but for learning and understanding the new technology that's out there that can help your event or your conference or your seminar. And as Dana said, questions, tweet using the hashtag there. We will be checking the Twitter feed, we will be asking questions. So while I'm running through this presentation, if you do have questions, don't think I'll leave it till the end. Tweet it, we'll check it, and we can ask those questions. So if you've got them on the fly, that will work really well. And it's a real cool thing, just that at the beginning, to do for your keynote speakers or your speakers at your events to do. Because the great thing about this is it's not happening, not just happening in real time, but also these conversations can go on long after the event, to the next day or the day after or even a week after, because it's all tied into a hashtag. Okay, so let's start off by talking about some reasons why social media now is becoming more and more important as a marketing channel. I started out sort of about 5 years ago getting into social media, which sounds like a real sort of kind of quick time, especially someone my age, but social media for 5 years has gone an awful long way, and you can see just by this graph how much it's grown. And there's now something going like 2 billion people online worldwide across just those 3 channels. Okay, so the skeptics amongst you will be going, well, that's okay, but I'm on Facebook and Twitter and on LinkedIn, so that's fair enough. So I've counted you 3 times. So let's just remove 25% of those people. Let's just throw them away because we're counting them twice. So there's still 1.5 billion people out there worldwide. Yeah, okay, well, I'm not going to communicate with all of them. Okay, you're only going to communicate with 10% of them. That's still a massive number worldwide that you can communicate with, and that's a fraction of anything else that you can do in your marketing channel. And the benefit of using it with social media is it's instantaneous. You can send a tweet right now that can be read in California, it can be read in New Zealand, it can be read in China and the UK, like that. So if you name any other marketing material that you can do that with, that's instantly read straight away, then you've got something that's not only cheap, but instantaneous and interactive all at the same time. So you bring the community together. The great advantage of social media over other marketing channels, such as email, for instance, is that it is opt-in, not opt-out. Okay, so people that have come and followed you on your social media channels and listening to you want to listen to you, and they want to engage with you. So that's a massive difference to getting the spam email or getting the text that you never asked for. You're actually getting people who want to actually engage. And for events, that is super key. And the reason it's key is because you guys know that events like this and like all the other events that we run are a group of like-minded people getting together, having discussions, having conversations about topics that they're interested in. And that's what social media is. It's a group of like-minded people getting together, having discussions, talking about things that they're interested in. So events and social media go hand in hand. Another myth about social media is, yeah, that's what all kids do, isn't it? I'll leave that to the kids, we won't respect that. That's, if your teenagers mess with that, don't they? You saw on the last graph, the social media really started around 2005, and Mr. Zuckerberg started up Facebook in the universities at Harvard and Yale and all the Ivy League to try and keep the university kids together. It was a kind of a sort of intranet, if you like, of people in universities to keep up with each other. Those guys were 20, 21, 22 in 2005. That was 10 years ago. So those guys now are 30, 31, 32. They know how to communicate this way, that's the way they've been brought up, that's the way they dealt with social media, that's the way they know how to interact. Those guys at 30, 31, 32 now are in senior positions, they're buyers, they're decision makers. They're people that know how to use social media, know how to interact with it, and expect to be interacting with it that way. So that new generation now has moved up into this level now that you're engaging with people that are leaders in the industry. They're the next people, that are the next generation that are going to bring the ideas and thoughts together. And if you want to use that as a context, you just roll it back 10 years ago and think of the way, or 20 years ago, think of the way we were communicating then and how things have evolved with computers and the internet, websites for instance. So it's something that needs to be taken seriously as it's moving forward with the demographic, the sociographic, and also the numbers, the pure numbers in there. And the key thing for me around social media is, as I say, people will say to me all the time, oh yeah, no, it's what the kids do, we just have to say we're having a cigarette outside Starbucks and post that, and that's going to be really cool, and that's what we need to do. It's really about, professional social media is about underlining your marketing strategy. Everything you post on your social media needs to have a reason behind it. There needs to be a thought behind it, and it needs to be underpinned by your marketing strategy. Okay, and that's key for professional social media. That's the differentiator between personal and professional social media. Personal social media doesn't need a lot of thought. Let's face it, we've all done the pictures of the silly cat falling off the chair, we've all done the pictures of the food, we've all done the pictures of us getting drunk somewhere, maybe all of us. But professional social media, you can't do that. Professional social media, you have to think about what you're posting. What is that driving to? What are you trying to get your audience to engage with? Where is that going? Is it going to registrations? Is it going to promote exhibitors? Are you promoting speakers? No matter how subtle you put that message in, because subtlety's got a lot to do with it, otherwise, especially in the UK and most of Europe, we don't like to have a hard sell. But that subtlety and that underlining messaging needs to be so clever and underpinned into your marketing strategy that you're driving something forward. So it needs to have someone who's curating the content and generating the content that knows and understands marketing strategy, okay, for it to deliver. Everybody's got their social media at a different stage, okay, and everybody in this room will fall into one of those categories in their professional social media. So have you started? Probably not. There's not a lot of people that haven't started, especially if they're in business now. They've realised in the last 2 or 3 years, actually, we need a Facebook, quick, we need a Twitter feed, get someone to get it and get someone to set it up because our competitors have got it. Yeah, that's all the right reasons to start. Of course it isn't. The right reasons to start is, does your actual event need a Twitter feed? Or is it better with an Instagram? Or is it better with YouTube? Or is it better with this or better with that? You need to analyse what content you've got and what content you're going to generate, and then you need to then make the decision what platform you're best to be on. Not what your competitor's doing, or not because the junior turns around and says, yeah, I'm brilliant at Facebook, oh great, let's start a Facebook page for our event then. All the wrong reasons. You know, it has to be an underlying strategy about actually what is best for my event. What have we got best for content? What is my audience best on? Where do I find them? And how do I engage with them? And that's what you need to do. The best piece of advice I can give you, which might sound kind of weird coming from someone who runs social media for events, is don't overdo it. Don't go out and try and set up 6 different accounts across different platforms. You won't have the content to fulfill it. You won't have the time to do it. Start small and then grow it. And then learn your audience. Learn to engage. Okay, so don't go and try and be all things to all people. If you have started, we commonly find the majority of the people we speak to fall into this middle category, which is, yeah, we started it up, but we just don't have time because we're doing an email campaign, we've got to do some direct mail, and we've got to do a little bit of SMS text messaging, and we've got to do some print, and we just don't get around to doing that, so we either leave it or the intern does it. Yeah, that's really cool. Leaving your brand identity and marketing strategy online instantaneously to someone with no knowledge, such as an intern. Not good. You wouldn't do that with any other type of marketing collateral. So it's not the way to go forward. Yeah, but they're young. They understand social media better than I do. Really? Would you say that about any other type of marketing strategy you deal with? Oh yeah, I don't really understand how the internet works, so I've just got some kid to set up our website for us. It doesn't work like that. You know, if you're marketing and you're a serious marketeer, you take this seriously, you put a lot of respect behind it, just like you would your other marketing. They're the people who get the results, not the people who dabble on it and then wonder why it doesn't work. So what you need to do is you need to either take it seriously or not. If you're going to start social media and you're going to start it for your event, make sure you take it seriously. Otherwise, and this is going to sound even weirder from someone who runs social media events, don't even bother. Okay? Because it's like having the sweet shop open and no one there to serve you. So don't set up something and don't start thinking that you can't pay it the respect to get engaged with. And lastly, you might have it fully managed. You might have a team in place, you might have everything set up. But there's always that thing about you need to cut internal costs, and what happens if someone goes sick, and are you utilising the best software, and all these types of things you need to keep in mind. So it is a really, really serious platform, because if you've got someone just running your social media and they go off sick or go on holiday, that is your online voice gone down for 2 weeks, let's say, if they go for a 2-week holiday. You need to have contingency plans, you need to have risk plans, you need to make sure that it is actually engaging. Because it's fast becoming a communication tool which people are using as a call centre rather than picking the phone up or dropping an email to you. So it's something that's interactive and becoming instantaneous. And as the guy said before me, everybody's using it. So. Okay, so this looks like a really, really confusing slide. I don't expect you to sit there and read it and try to get as much as there as possible. But basically, it's, why isn't your social media strategy working? So the first question, let's say you've been running it for 6 months, because the serious guys around you would know that when you're setting up an event, any type of organisation, you need to put a bit of effort behind it. Nothing's going to work in a week. So no campaigns that I've ever worked on in my entire career have been successful straight from the get-go. You need to put a bit of investment, a bit of time around it, build it up and make sure it generates. So let's say you've been running for about 6 months. So what sort of results were you expecting? The stuff in the red is all the kind of pessimistic, blasé kind of attitude, and the stuff in the yellow is all the kind of, okay, this is where you really should be doing, what you should be expecting. So you really should be growing a community, you really should be getting information, engaging with people, like-minded people that are interested in your event. Not just taking some attitude of, oh yeah, we're on social media, there's 1 billion people out there, we're bound to get 100,000 sales. I wouldn't be standing here right now talking to you, running my own social media company in London. If that was the case, I'll be in the Bahamas lying on a beach and talking to you, okay? So it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, I'm not a multi-millionaire, not even a millionaire, let alone a multi-millionaire. But you cannot expect it to drive in sales. It can affiliate your marketing, 100%. It can support all your marketing, 100%. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, yeah, you're going to get an instant sales revenue for it. Because clearly I'm standing right here now instead of lying on that beach. Okay, so you can look at how you're going to measure your success. Now, there's many ways you can measure your success. We were speaking about your marketing strategy before, but there's things like, your customer satisfaction, your engagement, your online registration, your early bird delegate pickup, whatever it may be, your exhibitors, whoever you're kind of picking up that kind of feedback from. And we're lucky enough to run and work with some of the major trade shows across the world, and the interaction we get from them is just phenomenal. Absolutely amazing, because it's active, we're talking to people, they're getting a response, they're getting a discussion, they're getting engagement, and it's instantaneous for them, and people like to work that way now. But no, my junior marketing exec or the intern will measure it by follows, traffic to the website, and my sales. We keep hearing this. No presentation I do to any client ever, or potential client, has got the word sales in it. Okay? We don't guarantee or say to you we are going to deliver sales. It's an affiliate marketing tool. Okay? It's a marketing tool that supports your marketing. Now there is an argument, and a strong argument, to do maybe not a direct correlation, but certainly a correlation between sales and your social media activity. But it's very hard to prove if you're doing something like a business to consumer product, or even a business to business, like you guys might be doing for selling for delegates, that delegate has registered because they read a tweet 2 days ago on the train on the way home. How am I going to measure that? Unless there's a call to action which I can correlate, there's no way I can tell that because some guy or girl has read something on the train on the way home, they're going to register for your event 2 days later, unless you put a call to action saying, how did you find out about our event? And unless they can be bothered to put in, I found out about it by Twitter. There's no way I can correlate that. But what I can correlate is that if you say to me, okay, let's start a social media campaign 3 months out from the show, or 3 months out from the event, and all of a sudden we see a spike in delegates, where it might even go up 2 or 3%, just something minutiae, then we know there's some sort of correlation. Something's obviously happened, so it must be related in some way. So how do you work with your social media team? This is really key, because we took to a lot of event managers and event directors who just say, oh, we just throw everything over the fence and it's content and it'll work, everything will be fine. And we just say, no, look, we need to underpin the strategy. We need to understand what you're trying to deliver. Otherwise, we're just going to put out mess and nonsense. It's not going to make any sense and not deliver anything to it, any traffic that's going to be any relevance to any of your people. So you need to understand who you're talking to. You need to understand when to talk to them. If you've got an international trade show, don't tweet at the wrong time of day because they'd be asleep. Okay, so use common sense on things like that. It makes an awful lot your life an awful lot easier if you start really understanding your target profile. So sit there and draw out your perfect delegate, the person that you want to be, and then go and aim your marketing strategy through your social media to that audience. Okay, there's plenty of software and tools you can get that will actually profile people for you and tell you exactly what they are, where they live, their gender, and what they do. Okay, so it can be done quite simply. And the red side of that is, I just expect them to get on with it, do the results, and then smash my fist on the desk when it's social media nonsense. What's that intern doing? It's not working. We've got 12 followers. Or no one's talking to us, there's no engagement, how do we get talking to people? You expect this poor intern or this poor marketing exec who's probably working, don't know what way is Wednesday, is turning up every day and just going, what am I doing tomorrow? Oh, I better tweet something, and you're expecting results out of that. Just because you're trying to do it on the cheap, really, is what it is. So the yellow part of it, if this is what you're expecting, there are many factors involved, but you still need to stay focused on what your marketing product is. And we're lucky, we actually place staff on site at large event organisations. They work full time at the event organisers. And the amount of times they come back to us and say, yeah, we got dragged into a marketing meeting and I was sitting in the back waving a flag going, you forgot about social media? That's why we're here. You're talking about your email campaigns and your marketing, but what about social media? So keep it forefront of mind, keep thinking about how you can involve social media. And there's so many little tricks and tips that you can use. Things like social media icons on your event packs. Won't cost you any more. If the printer turns around and says, oh, I've got to charge you another £100 to put that on there, tell him to go, I used to be an ex-printer by the way, so tell him to go sling a hook. Because those social media icons cost no more, nothing, not a penny extra to print than these printing on your packs anyway. And that's free. That's cost you nothing. On the bottom of your email signature, it's cost you nothing. So little things like that, little tips where it's not going to cost you anything, you could underpin it with your marketing strategy just by promoting your social media in that way. And then the red side of this question, when did this strategy ever work for any other marketing channel that you've ever worked with? And it's never. So there's no direct mail campaign, you just go, give that to the intern and don't really care where we send it out, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be all fine because it's what the kids do. And it'll never work. And nothing like that does for emails, because you all get the emails every day. We all get the spam emails. We don't even bother reading it. As soon as we read the spam, it goes straight to the box because no one's paying attention to it because it's not targeted to the right audience with the right information. So you need to pay it the attention and the time and the investment and the respect. So I'm going to give you some case studies of events that we've been involved in. Now this information is not sensitive, it's out in the public domain. So no one's going to beat me up with a big stick, I hope. But so we wouldn't do that to our clients, we only share information that we can benefit you. And this is a company that you can see steady growth on their Twitter feed. It's an event that we run about 18 months ago, and we saw fantastic growth with them. And because they changed their strategy from when they introduced us and said, this is the audience we're trying to hit, this is the demographic, and this is the messaging we want to convey. And we literally just changed that, and you can see actually how that grows on their Twitter feed, and they were absolutely delighted about that, and that is the continual growth. That's what you should be seeing if you're doing the right thing. Okay, you should be seeing a nice trend, a nice upward curve of people engaging with you and following you. Remember, these people are chosen to follow your event. You haven't put a gun to their head or forced them to. So these people are not false, these people have come on. The great thing about Twitter is, for instance, especially if you haven't got, obviously if you haven't got a private feed, but if you've got a public Twitter feed, which the majority of people have, is that anybody can view this. You can actually go in and look at every one of those Twitter followers that are following that event, and you can see the relevance to them. You can read their bios, you can see what they're talking about. So you can actually see the correlation, because often clients say, well, what's the ROI, how are we going to measure this, and who's following us? Just go and have a look. These people are engaging, these people are talking to you, it's out in the public domain. Here's another example of another event called Cross Media Live that we run, and you can see, by the way, I'm just going to quickly, this is the bit where we took over. And it was literally, there was a big spike in activity with this LinkedIn group. They were saying they're getting no engagement, there was no one talking to them. So I said, well, what have you been talking about and who have you been engaged? Oh, we post up something about the event once a month. Right, yeah, that's going to work, isn't it? Yeah, when I go down the pub and I sit there and I talk to all these people, only one bloke talks to me once a month and that's it. So it doesn't work like that. If you go out to the pub or the wine bar, you want to engage in conversation, you want to talk about the things you're interested in. And this happens to be a LinkedIn group where people are interested in obviously cross media and how that works. Cross media is different types of media working together in conjunction. So we obviously had a bit of a background in this, but we being ex-print and marketing and also social media, we were saying, actually, look, that's not what the messaging what people want to hear. They want to hear how they can work with these types of marketing. Oh yeah, that's great, yeah, we need more of that. So we generated the content, and all of a sudden we got the drive and engagement. And we just started getting new members every week and new people coming in and new contributors. Remember, these people have chosen to follow you. So you must be saying something they want to hear, Another case study here. So anybody who runs private functions or internal events, maybe communications, we start this case study, and this is the Brit School. For some of you might know them, might not know them. They're a very talented school based in South London. They turned out alumni such as Adele and Jessie J and Amy Winehouse, so they got a nice portfolio of people. Now they wanted to engage a certain age demographic for their open days, because even though they're incredibly successful, because with that type of list of alumni coming through, that every little girl and boy wants to go to this school. It's a free to attend school, public school, so it's absolutely, 60% paid for by the government, 40% paid by the British Record Industry Trust, which is what Brit is. It's a fantastic school. We've been working for them for 3.5 years. We've got their new open days coming up in November and December. Now it's an event. Lots of people turn up to this, mums and dads turn up to it, kids turn up to it. They all want to talk to the teachers, they want to understand what's going on, they want to see where they can be and if they can be the new, the new Spider-Man guy called Tom Holland. Annoyingly, I met him at the Brit School last year. He was 18. When I met him, he's 19 now. He's the new Spider-Man. He just signed a $7 million deal in America. And I wish it was his agent doing his social media, but never mind. So the point of this is a very private, personal kind of event. This is a get-together for people that are interested to attend an actual school. This is really, really tricky for us because we first went there naively thinking, oh, this is going to be cool, we're going to put someone really hip and trendy on this account because it's about school and it's kids and it's rad and all that. No. They said, no, that's definitely not our marketing strategy. Again, a company that understood their marketing strategy and said, what we're trying to attract is parents, not the kids. The kids don't make the decision when they come to the school, the parents make the decision when they come to the school. So he was like, right, okay, good point. So everything is on point. We don't use hip and trendy words and street talk and all that. We make sure it's all nice and clear. The other key marketing objective they wanted was, and again, it makes perfect sense when you know it, is they said, we don't want to be promoting it as a fame academy. We don't want to be going out telling them that we're Adele and Jessie J and Amy Winehouse all come through this school, because we're already famous for that. We're already getting written about that in NME and Guardian and Evening Standard. They write about us all the time. We want to be coming across more as an academic school. We want to be coming across so people come out of this school and knowing their kids have got an education, because if they don't turn out to be the next Adele, they're going to need to do something else. So the whole of our content is shifted around education, aimed towards the 30-year-olds plus, and we drive that engagement. So completely different, a way of doing an event, but a good way of understanding that the marketing strategy is ultimately key. So the last case study I want to show you is the one that we worked with, the AEO. Some of you guys might know the AEO in here, some of you might not, the Association of Event Organisers. They get together every year and do a huge awards. We run their social media for them in 2014, so it was a great coup for us to run effectively one of the governing bodies of events to run their awards. And we set up this AEO awards selfie. And everyone's doing it now, but back then it was literally a case of Ellen at the Oscars had just done the selfie, and we wrote on the back of it, if I'm honest. We stole the idea, to be honest with you. We just said, look, it's all the buzz at the moment, everything's happening, let's go and stick something up. So we created this piece of print for them, and we dropped it on everybody's table, and there was about 1,000 people in the auditorium. We ran all the social media live for them. We had live social media walls, we had live social media engagement, and we used the hashtags. And they're fine with us showing you this, but they had a great reach. This is just one event, by the way, with 1,000 people in it. One night, you can see the time here was literally, it peaked between sort of 3 and 5 o'clock. It's a day event, so yes, everybody rolled out there about 5 o'clock, completely smashed, and can't believe it's daylight. It was one of those sort of. It's actually daylight when you went in. Nighttime it's finished yet. We can check all their sources, and we can tell the influencers. We can tell the amount of accounts it reached. So you would talk about ROI. If you want to do some sort of, we do a lot of work with events in the way they can sell sponsorship for social media. This is a perfect example of it. if you walked up to one of your brands or your exhibitors and said, do you know what, we can run some sort of competition, or we can do a Twitter wall, or we can do something that you can sponsor because you're going to hit 36,000 accounts and we prove it to you, you know, that's pretty powerful ROI. You know, if I was invested in something like that, if I had the money to go out and sponsor something like that, that's the sort of thing I would want to get back. So you can prove your ROI in that way. And just to prove we're not making it up, there's lots of people, hopefully some of you are not in these, I know I'm in, my big head is up there somewhere in one of these photos, but the great thing about this was Jimmy Carr was doing the comparing, and as he was writing his speech up in the sort of galleys where our social media guys were doing all the live Twitter walls and stuff and scheduling all the tweets for the winners, he sort of come past and I thought, I can't miss this opportunity. And I said to Jimmy Carr, can you do a selfie for us? And he went, yeah, sure. And he was really cool and laid back, you know, Jimmy Carr, I can't do his laugh, I'm not even going to try. And he took a selfie and we put it up and we posted it on the Twitter wall, and it just went ballistic after that. It was great. So he actually got to contribute to it as well, which is brilliant. You can just so the last couple of slides here, as I was saying earlier, you know, social media is about understanding the marketing strategy. It's, people say to me, oh, you run a social media agency, it must be so cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right, but it's all this. It's all data, it's all metrics, it's all analytics, it's all looking at the audience. When are they online? When are they engaging? When are they talking? How are we talking back to them? You know, we pull out word clouds. What are the key words they're talking about? What are the things that tick in their boxes? This is really social media. This is professional social media. Not just sitting there thinking, I'll just post something, it'll work. This is what we do all day. We sit there analysing data, analysing what works, what doesn't. We often there sitting scratching our heads going, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to, where do we take this to the next step? You know, and it's all about that kind of thing, really. So it needs the respect behind it. It can't just be thrown in the corner. It is a serious marketing channel. And I think this is the last slide. Otherwise, Toby's going to kick me off in a minute anyway. So what can social media deliver for your event? This is absolutely key. Okay, it's not going to work in a month. Please don't think that. Please don't start up your social media 2 months before the event, run the event and then close it down again. When I first got into that, it was very commonplace, and it took a lot of convincing to event managers and event directors and marketing managers and events. You need to keep this platform and this forum running all year round. These people are not just going to enjoy your event and they just want to go on social media for a couple of days. The reason they go to the event is because they're interested in the subject matter. That doesn't mean they're interested in the subject matter around your event. They're interested in the subject matter all year round. And you need to become the thought leader. Your event needs to be the go-to place. Your event needs to be the thing that I think of first when I'm thinking about my favourite topic in business or pleasure. And that's why you need to keep the engagement going. And you will see that if you put the time and the effort and the dedication and the money and the resource into your social media, exactly like you do all your other marketing channels, you took it as seriously as your website design, your direct mail, your email marketing and your social and your SMS marketing, you will find you will get these results, rather than sitting there at the end of 6 months going, that social media thing don't work, does it? So thank you very much everybody for listening to me, and I really do hope you all network and have a great time, and hopefully some of that has helped you with your events in the future, and I wish you all the best of luck and hopefully good social media.
We did have a few questions from the audience, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and hold those, and after we get onto the panel, we can revert back to those questions. Because I think the question that came through would actually be good for all of our panelists. Right, so we'd like to, just to kind of introduce our panelists. We've got Chloe from Ernest Agency. She's an event manager, so she's going to be talking a little bit about what she does. We've got Daniel from Greenlight Events. He'll be talking about specific campaigns that he's been working with. He is the head of sales and marketing for his agency. Obviously, not got in from before. All right. So the first question that we wanted to ask was to have each of you talk about a specific successful social media campaign that you've had, and really what's led to that specific success. So, Chloe, sure.
I think something that we find important at the moment is to remember who the key influencers are. So the people that are attending the event, the people that are speaking at the event, and to really help harness the power of those to drive momentum using their own social networks to kind of build a buzz online ahead of the event, and most importantly